Hey, so good morning, everyone, and welcome to Yoga Church Digital. We're grateful for everybody who's joining us live right now, and we're also grateful for those of you who will join in later, both on YouTube and the Facebook um, functions. So we want to welcome you and just hope that you have a comfy place in your house. Good morning, Patty. Welcome. And that you got some room and some comfy clothing to practice yoga with us today. I'm going to start with a brief little devotional from the Christian Bible. And also, if you don't mind, as you're joining us, if you want to share this with your friends, you can do a watch party on Facebook, or if you're joining us on YouTube Live, you can share that link on whatever social media you have. This is an awesome time for us to pause and to pray and to heal and to breathe and to rest in God. So the passage I wanted to share this morning is from the Gospel of Luke in the 10th chapter. And I just wanted to share a couple verses. This is where Jesus sends out his disciples in teams of two. And they go from place to place, and he gives them some specific instructions, travel light, and locate persons of peace, people who are give you their peace, and people who your peace rests on those people. And then he says, go to their table, eat and drink whatever they provide. So fortunately, this is theological validation for the potluck. Those of you that have been Christian for a while know that we Christians love our potlucks, where we come together around a shared meal. But then he says, whenever you enter town and its people welcome you, eat whatever's set before you, cure the sick, and say to them, the kingdom of God has come near to you. And I was just reflecting on one of the central things that Jesus tells his disciples to do, and that Jesus himself models out for them, is to heal the sick. To heal the sick. Now, I've been through like 20 years of education and training to be a clergy person and seminary and all that business. But never in seminary have we ever done a course on how to heal people. We're taught how to preach. We're taught how to pastor and counsel and run a meeting and all of those things, but not to heal people. And the thing that I've been just wondering is where is the church and Christians in general as far as being instruments of healing and agents of healing? I think one of the reasons that we stay away from that conversation is because it can be scary and sketchy, and we have faith healers that lay their hands on people and they fall on the ground and all that business. But I don't think we can just easily dismiss this ministry, this calling that we have. I think that all human beings have to be healers in our society. And right now, as this pandemic kind of rages on, and Jill and I have two daughters that work the COVID-19 unit, so we hear every day the stories of people that are very, very sick and on ventilators and that die every day. And for them, it's kind of like being in a war zone. It's very traumatic, and they're young. So seeing death every day is not easy for them. And I'm just wondering, Christians did invent hospitals. That was one of our great social innovations that we contributed to a place where the sick could be healed and cared for. And I was wondering what would it look like if each one of us saw ourselves in some kind of way as a healer, that we could be an instrument of healing to others. Would that be us using our minds and our bodies and just helping people in need? Would that be wearing a mask could make us a healer? Social distancing, so that we at least make sure we're not getting other people sick. And that if we found ways to creatively in this time meet the needs of people, maybe we can meet a physical need, and healing comes through a meal or clothing. Maybe healing can come through the emotional life when we just listen to someone. and their struggles and what they're going through. And all of those ways we can actually be helpers and we can be healers. Mr. Rogers says, look for the helpers. And what if we were to look for the healers and to look for other people that we're trying to be instruments of healing? So what I love about the practice of yoga as Karen leads us is I think healing has to take place in us before we can really share it with others. And in a way, we're all wounded healers. We all have wounds that we carry, and that as we're aware of those wounds and we lean into the power of Jesus with our wounds, then we have the capacity to heal others. If we're not aware of our own wounds and our own issues, then those can spill out and bleed onto others as well. So we can be instruments of unhealing. And so my intention today, and I don't want to, your intention is between you and your higher power. But usually this is a time that I use for self-reflection and to turn off my brain, which is always way too busy, and just try to be present to the Holy Spirit and to God, and to receive whatever healing I need in my mind and my body and my soul through this practice of, for me, worshiping God with all of my body, mind, and soul together through the practice of yoga. So it's my prayer for you and my hope that you'll stay safe, that we will reflect on this a little bit as we go through this time of pandemic, what it means to be a healer and not a herder in this time. And if we could take seriously the call that Jesus puts on our lives to heal the sick wherever we go. So I'm going to turn it over to Karen. She's amazing. She's going to lead us today. She's in Louisiana this morning. So y'all give it up for Karen. Give her some amens and some social media love out there, some likes and some loves. And thank you, Karen, for your time and for giving yourself in this way to us each week.
Sure. Thank you, Michael. Those were just great words to think about and to meditate on as we go through our practice today. So I always like to start with the heart of yoga, which is breath. So let's just close our eyes, sit in a really comfortable position. I like to bend my knees a little bit. Just close your eyes and begin to breathe. And as you breathe, clear your mind, as Michael spoke about. Let's take this time for ourselves to bring healing and restoration to our mind and to our body and to our spirit, so that if we can heal our own bodies through our mind, body, and spirit, maybe we can be healers to others. So let's just close our eyes, clear your mind, kind of get grounded and focus on your heart and your mind and your body, and just be. Just be in the moment, breathing the breath that our Lord Jesus gave us, that our God gave us when we were born. As you breathe and clear your mind, maybe there is something in your mind or your heart is speaking to you this morning, and that can be your intention. And it's okay not to have an intention as well. Sometimes I just go through my practice just taking time for myself, just becoming more grounded and trying to relax and release any anxiety or stress that's going on in my life. So maybe for you that's the same, or maybe something is speaking to you this morning. That would be your intention that you can meditate on throughout your practice as you worship and just heal yourself. Let's change our breath pattern to inhaling deep in through the nose and exhaling all the air out of your body through your mouth, maybe with a shh sound. 2 more purifying breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Trying to relax your mind, body, and spirit. As the more you can relax, the more energy that will flow through your body through your practice today. And let us return to our normal breath in through the nose and out through the nose, using our breath to guide our movement today. And know that in this practice, that this is really your yoga practice. I'm here hoping just to help you move and transition from one pose to another so that you can feel the energy and the release and just feel better and restored after your practice today. So with that, it's important that you listen to your body and don't do anything that doesn't feel right. So you don't want to get hurt. And so by listening to your body, you can be safer in your own home, and you can modify and you can do your own thing. Maybe you're by yourself, maybe you're with others. Wherever you are, enjoy your practice today and listen to your body. So let's take our arms out long with our palms up. Inhale to float the hands up, gazing up to the heavens, and exhale, hands over, heart center, and namaste. Inhale to float the hands up, big stretch, reaching your arms out. We're just warming up our whole upper body here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more big stretch, one more big breath. Reach your arms out as long as you can as we go into our side stretches, flipping that left palm up and coming up and over, and then alternating side to side. Reaching up for strength and over for flexibility. Remember, only move as big as it feels good for your body. Know that in yoga and in most exercises, the slower that you move a joint, the more tension you release from that joint. So if you're feeling any pain in any particular place, use your breath and use the slowness of your movement to help heal that injury or that tension or that tightness or whatever may be going on in any part of your body. One more big side stretch. Just rest your hands by your side and sit as tall as you can, relaxing your shoulders down away from your ears and letting the crown of your head grow towards the ceiling. We're going to go into some shoulder shrugs. So we like to release any tension we might have in our neck or upper back before we go into any kind of a flow. So let us begin that practice. Inhale to shrug up. And exhale to push the shoulders down, keeping the spine long. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale. And exhale. On the next shoulder shrug up, go on and bring your shoulders around to the back. So really big, slow shoulder rolls. As big and as slow as you can move the shoulders around to the back. Inhaling and exhaling with each shoulder roll. Opposing that internal rotation that we do all day as we're on computers and doing dishes and rolling our shoulders forward. Let's just oppose that movement and roll the shoulders to the back. External rotation. One more big shoulder roll. Relaxing the shoulders down away from your ears and growing maybe a little bit taller through the crown of the head. It's important that your knees are bent so you can have folded legs, or maybe that's not comfortable for you. A lot of people don't like to sit like that. It's important that you're comfortable. So maybe just a little bend in the knees. It's to protect your spine as we go into some neck stretches. So we start by pulling our belly into our spine to engage our core and protect our lower back. Grow tall through the crown of your head, and then just drop your chin to your chest. You can close your eyes here once again. Let your head be heavy and stretch the back of your neck and breathe. And with your chin on your chest and your eyes closed with the heavy head, Go on and let your spine round. Let it go. Let the rib cage cave in and the shoulders round forward. Let your head get heavier and heavier, rounding the spine and opening up space between each vertebra. Inhale, and on the next exhale, slowly roll your chin up towards your left shoulder. And when you get there, sit as tall as you can. We're going to go into some half neck circles in slow motion. Inhale to drop the chin to the chest, once again, rounding the spine. On your exhale, slowly let the chin roll up to that right shoulder and go tall through the spine. Inhale, dropping the chin to the chest, rounding the spine. Exhale, chin rolls up to that left shoulder and grow tall. And one more half neck circle. Inhale. And exhale. And bring your gaze back to the center. Sit tall once again. And remember, if your lower back ever starts feeling funny or tired or hurt, pull your belly into your spine. It helps to protect that lower spine. So as we sit nice and tall, growing through the crown of the head, we'll let our left earlobe fall towards our left shoulder with a heavy head. Inhale. And on the exhale, come back to the center and we'll look over that right shoulder with breath. Slowly look over the shoulder. Inhale. And exhale, come back to the center. Grow tall again as we let our right earlobe fall towards our right shoulder with a heavy head. On the next breath, lift the head back up tall and slowly turn around and look over your left shoulder with breath. Inhale and exhale. Let's go into a seated cat and cow. You're going to use your hand grip on your knees or wherever your hands are. Good grip there. And hinge forward, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, and filling your lungs up with air. And on the exhale, you're going to nod your chin and round the spine, kind of like Halloween cat, rolling back. Inhale into seated cow, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze. And exhale into seated cat. Inhale, move slowly through the spine. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Let's hold the seated cat pose, rounding our spine, and begin some upper body circles, lifting your gaze as you come forward and nodding your chin as you round to the back. So upper body circles, starting small. Be careful not to go too fast or too big as you warm up your spine. So spine mobility is so important. When we don't get our spine mobility, that's when we tend to get injured. So let's just take this time to be kind to the spine. Let's go on and switch the direction of our circles again, starting small, lifting the heart as you come forward and rounding as you go back. Only making your circle as big as it feels good for your body and for your spine. One more big circle. Come back to the center, sit as tall as you can, and straighten your legs out into staff pose. In staff pose, we point our toes up to the ceiling, we ground our legs, and grow tall through the crown of the head, pull your belly into your spine. You can stay here in staff pose, or maybe you join me for a little progression, which is always a little more challenging when it's a progression. So reach up to the ceiling, squeeze your biceps against your ears, lift them through the spine, through the crown of the head. Let the energy flow through as you hinge 2 or 3 inches forward and just pause right there. So trying to keep your legs as straight as you can. It's okay to bend them if you need to. It's important to move with your body and move in ways that your body feels good. You can stay here and continue to stretch, or you can forward fold, which is contraindicated if you're over 60, so maybe you don't do it, or maybe you just pretend that you're younger and your spine allows you to do it, so maybe bend your knees and slowly begin to straighten them with each breath.
On the next breath, we're going to slowly round our spine back up, stacking the vertebrae one at a time to protect our spine, sitting nice and tall. Go and pull that left knee in, cross the left foot over the right leg. We'll go into our spinal rotation. Use that opposite elbow or hand to wrap around that bent knee to get tall, and then slowly rotate around to your left with breath, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, and breathing deep. Inhale, and on the exhale, come back around to the center. As we rotate around to the other side, remember to use your elbow or hand around your knee to get as tall as you can. And breathe deep so you feel the lung or the rib cage expand with each inhale. Inhale, and on the exhale, slowly come back around to the center. Going and straighten out that left leg on top of the right. Cross leg, staff pose with the twist. So long arms out in front of the shoulders, cross the arms, flip the hands. This time we'll drop our hands. So you can stay right here, or you can tuck your chin and slowly move your hands towards your ankles. Go slow and only go as far as it feels good for your body. Inhaling and exhaling. On the next breath, we'll slowly roll the spine back up to tall spine. Uncross the legs. Go on and pull that right knee in for our spinal rotation on this side. So we use the knee to get tall. Wrap the opposite elbow around, or maybe you're just using your hand. And then take that right hand around to the back, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, and breathing deep. Inhale, on the exhale, come back around to the center. You did have the option to cross your foot or not there. As we rotate around to the other side, know that spinal rotation is a pose that allows you to restore. So it's a very restorative pose in yoga or asana. So use your rotation to restore. It's not only for the body, but for the spirit and the mind as well. Inhale, and exhale, come back around to the center. Go on and straighten out that right leg on top of the left for staff pose here. With a twist, float the arms out in front of the shoulders, crossing the arms, flipping the hands and dropping them, and maybe just staying right there. Or maybe you nod your chin and slowly slide your hands towards your ankles. And feel that stretch and breathe. On the next breath, slowly round the spine back up to tall spine. As we move into seated butterfly, taking the soles of the feet together. So it's okay if your feet are out here, or maybe you bring them really nice and close. Maybe you wiggle to get a little closer. Grab onto either your knees or your shins, or whatever's comfortable. Maybe your ankles, whatever you can hold on to grow a little bit taller. Now you can stay here, or if you want more, float your elbows over your inner knees as you slowly hinge forward. Press them down. If you want to continue for more stretch, nod your chin and let your nose slowly float towards your feet. Let your eyes go to your belly. Press the soles of the feet together and gently press the knees towards the floor. Inhale, and on the exhale, slowly roll up to tall seated as we transition to our hands and knees. So come to your hands and knees. We want our wrists under our shoulders, and we want our knees under our hip bones. We want our hands, knees, and feet all in alignment. Let's curl our toes under and feel the stretch of the soles of the feet. So in our yoga practice, I like to try to move through our entire body so that we do feel restored and we feel renewed after our practice. So if you can curl your toes under, curl them in as much as you can, then begin to press the balls of your feet towards your mat. You'll feel that stretch. So you can stay here, But we're going to move into a bent knee plank. So I love this style of a plank because if you have any lower back issues, it's much safer because your hips can't sag because your knees are under your hips. So you're just going to lift your knees about 2 inches off the mat. Now be sure you're distributing your weight through your whole body and not just on your wrist. Pull your belly into your spine. Come down at any time you need to, or stay up for more challenges. We breathe 5 more breaths in a bent knee plank. Remember, it's perfectly okay to drop your knees and then pull them back up. Keep your neck in alignment with your spine and breathe. Inhale on the exhale, drop the knees if they're not already down. Uncurl the toes. Drop your buttocks towards your heels for an extended child's pose. You can actually make a pillow for your forehead with your hands, or maybe you have a towel or a pillow. Maybe you bring your forehead down to the mat and you reach your arms out in front of your shoulders for just a little more stretch. Let's breathe 3 breaths here in child's pose. On the next breath, come back up to your hands and knees. And before we go into our flow, know that if you have any high blood pressure issues or glaucoma or maybe vertigo, you shouldn't have your head below your heart, then instead of doing downward dog, you would do child's pose or puppy, which means you just take your hands out in front and drop your ears between your biceps. There's puppy, that's your modification. And otherwise, join me for the progression for a full downward dog, tucking the toes under, lifting the knees and the sits bones as high as you can. Be sure your eyes gaze towards your knees so your neck stays in alignment. So we want to press the earth away with the balls of the feet and the heels of the hands, pressing the sits bones up as high as we can. And then we can begin our pedaling, dropping the right heel down, bending the left knee. And then switch, left heel, right, left, right, left, right. Let's try to press both heels down as you press your sits bones up. So this is quite a stretch, so go slow and listen to your body. We're going to go right into our vinyasas today. So go and lift your heels up as high as you can. And then drop into plank. So if you're in child's pose, you would come back up to your hands and knees, come into a full plank. And if you need to drop your knees, that's perfectly okay. Or maybe you just keep your knees up. Make sure that you're flat like a plank and not sagging. So that's why the bent knee plank is good for those of you with lower back issues. It's almost better to pike up than to sag. So you never want a sagging hips in a plank. So from here, we're going to move into Cobra. So you're going to slowly drop your knees, drop your whole body down. Fingertips should be in alignment with the shoulders. Squeeze your elbows in, uncurl the toes. Now, before we do this Cobra, I always like to remind you that your lower disc in your back will compress, so you need to be careful here. Maybe you just lift up a couple of inches like an infant does in a crib, or maybe you push all the way up or somewhere in between. Relax your shoulders here and breathe 3 breaths. On the next breath, we're going to go back into child's pose, where maybe you stay or maybe you tuck your toes under and join me back up into downward dog. And pedaling, pressing the right heel down, left, right, left, both heels pressing down, both heels coming up, dropping into full plank, knees up or knees down. Try to straighten your body out. And then you can go back to Cobra, which is a wonderful stretch, or join me for something a little more challenged, chaturanga. Squeeze your elbows in, lower yourself a little or a lot, and hold your chaturanga as long as you can, and breathe. And then when you can't hold it anymore, drop on down and go into your Cobra. So you're either going to stay in Chaturanga, try a little Chaturanga, or come down to your Cobra and not do any Chaturanga. That's what I love about yoga. It's your practice, and you just do what feels good for your body. And then we'll push back into child's pose where you can stay, or maybe you join back up for downward dog for another vinyasa flow. Pedaling first, right heel, left, right, left, right, left. Pressing both heels down, and then bringing both heels up, only to drop back into your plank, straight body plank. Maybe you drop your knees, maybe not. Maybe you keep your knees up. We're going to go into up dog now. Or you can go back into your Cobra. So you can uncurl your toes. I have very flexible ankles, so that's easy for me. Maybe it's easier than I think, or I don't know. But just drop your hips down where they just hover your mat. Lift your heart, lift your gaze, and up dog. And then drop your knees and come on back down into child's pose. Come back into downward dog. We're going to do one more vinyasa on each side. We're going to go right into our pigeon, but first let's pedal. Going to drop your right heel, left, right, left, dropping both heels down, sit bones up, and then lift your heels up and come back into plank. All right, so you can go on right now and drop back down to your knees, or I'll challenge you to lift up your left leg and then point your left foot and flex, point, flex, point. Bring that knee under your chest. Push your back foot as far back as you can. Wiggle the foot under your body. It's actually probably your right foot towards the other side of your mat. So you're in pigeon. So this is a very awkward pose because a lot of people sit on their buttocks, and that's okay. That's what your body does. But eventually you want to roll that buttock up, right? Now you can stay here, or maybe you walk your hands out, make a pillow for your forehead, and just breathe. It's a wonderful stretch, but you do need to listen to your body here. Come on back to your hands and knees, only to drop into child's pose. Inhale. Exhale. Come back into downward dog if you're doing downward dog today. A little pedaling. Right heel, left, right, left, right, left. Both heels down. Both heels up into plank. Maybe you drop your knees. Maybe you do the progression and lift your right leg. Point your right foot, flex. Point, flex, point, flex, point. Go on and bring that knee under your chest. Push your back foot as far back as you can as you wiggle the foot under your body to the outside of the mat. Maybe you walk up for more stretch. Maybe you walk out because it feels better. Maybe you make a pillow with your fist or your hands for your forehead. Inhale and exhale, go on and straighten your hands. Come back into child's pose. Let's hold this child's pose for 3 breaths. Maybe you take your hands back by your ankles for a traditional child's pose with your palms up. Let your elbows and shoulders hang down towards the earth and breathe. And then come on back to your hands and knees. We're going to come up to a standing forward fold. So come up into downward dog. If you are in child's pose, come to your hands and knees. And we are going to either step forward or hop forward into a standing forward fold. So if you came from your hands and knees, You might have to stand up and then forward fold. You can bend your knees and let your chest just hang on your thighs, or maybe you try to straighten your legs with each breath. Be sure the crown of your head is facing your toes. And let's do a little extra stretch here with your feet flat. Bend your right knee, then your left knee, right, left, right, left. Go on and bend that right knee as much as you can as you straighten your left leg. Let your nose come to that right bent knee and breathe. And then knee bends again. Left knee bends, right, left, right. Go on and bend your left knee and let your nose float toward that bent left knee. Try to straighten out your right leg. And the knee bends again. Right knee, left knee, right, left, right. Let's go on and bend both knees. And then you can lift your heels. You can stay right there. Or you can join me for crouch. As you drop your buttocks toward your heels come up a little higher. Lift your heart, lift your gaze, and breathe. This is called crouch pose again. And now they're very restorative, renewing pose here. It just feels good. And from here, we'll go back into our standing forward fold. Drop your heels, reach your sit bones up. Go on and bend both knees as we move into yoga chair pose, floating the hands up. Pretending like you're sitting in a chair, or maybe you prefer the bar stool. Look down, be sure you see your toenails. If you don't, if your knees are over your toenails, then you need to stand up just a little bit to protect the toes. And breathe. Inhale on the exhale, stand up nice and tall. I'm going to turn around so that we can go into our balance poses, or you can stay wherever you like. I'm going to turn around so you can see me. So I like to do the tree pose every week so you can see how you're progressing. If you need a chair to hold on to or something there in case you lose your balance, it's important that you feel safe. Let's start in mountain pose first. So let's feel how we can be grounded to the earth, like a mountain. Close your eyes, let your palms face forward, arms are hanging down, nice and heavy and loose and relaxed. And you want all four corners of your feet pressing into your mat. As you grow tall through the crown of the head like a mountain. As we close our eyes and take away one of our senses, so our brain can remember that connection of our feet to the earth. Breathe in sturdiness and strength like a mountain. Grow tall like a mountain. And just breathe. Inhale on the next exhale, open your eyes. Float your hands up towards the ceiling and your hands over heart center as we move into tree pose. Maybe just lifting up your left heel. Maybe you stay there. Maybe you can sit your heel against your inside ankle, keeping your big toe down for safety. Maybe you float the foot up a little or a lot. Grow tall. Find something to focus on. Think of your intention if you have one today. And if not, just breathe. Just be. Maybe breathe in forgiveness and healing. And exhale anything that isn't right in your heart. Just let go of it. Inhale and exhale. Go on and release your tree on that side. Come back into mountain pose. Do some shoulder rolls to the back and relax. Inhale, exhale, float the hands up into prayer hands right over the crown of your head. Squeeze your biceps against your
ears to steady and sturdy your head as you gaze up. Now, be careful here. You don't want to push your hips too forward unless it feels good for your body. So go slowly into a variation on mountain pose, reaching the prayer hands up towards the heavens along with your gaze, lifting your heart and breathing. Inhale and exhale, flip the hands back down, around, bringing your hands back over your heart center. Now I encourage you as we go into tree on the other side to bring your hands or your arms wherever you would like. So maybe you're a big tree with lots of branches, maybe you're tall, maybe you're one-sided, maybe you're a bush, maybe you're just really tall and skinny, keeping your toe down or floating your foot up, pulling your belly into your spine, remembering that connection of the sole of your foot to the earth, and breathing in forgiveness. We have to be free with forgiveness in our hearts before we can begin to heal. So is there anything in your spirit, in your heart, where you need forgiveness, or maybe you need to give forgiveness? Inhale and exhale, release. A few more shoulder rolls to the back. Inhale and exhale. All right, let's go ahead and spread our feet out wide. Just check the time there. Having so much fun, sometimes I go over and I want to be respectful of your time. So let's go ahead and spread our feet wide to a good morning pose with our arms out long, hinge halfway over so that your chest is parallel to the floor. Enjoy this stretch. If you want more, you can drop your left fingers down or hand down as you float your right hand and gaze up to the ceiling. For a revolving triangle, inhale. Exhale, come back into your good morning stretch, only to drop your right fingers or hand down as you float your left hand and gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale. And exhale back into good morning pose, hinging all the way back up to standing straddle split. Let's move into our warriors. We're going to turn our right foot out, bending your right knee, keeping your shoulders and hips all stacked, and then go and gaze to your right, looking down your right hand. You're in warrior two. And then peaceful warrior, take the back hand to the back, front arm comes up. And then back into warrior two with long arms as you drop your right elbow to your right thigh, floating your left hand up, gazing down to your right big toe. Maybe you want more, you float your hand down. Maybe you can gaze up. It can throw off your balance, so be careful there. Inhale. Exhale, come back into warrior two and right into peaceful warrior once again. So we're kind of flowing through our warriors today. From here, we're going to go right into triangle. So as you come back up, straighten out that right knee, bringing your right hand to your shin or thigh, floating your back hand up, gazing down to your big toe or up to the ceiling where your left hand is reaching. And then coming back into warrior two, reset. Go on and take that left arm over to the right, reach both hands over the shoulders, and a nice warrior one. Now you can stay here before we go into crescent lunge, because crescent lunge can be quite a challenge. So you really need to be careful here. For crescent lunge, you're going to lift up your back heel and turn your back foot so both feet are facing to the right, and you're in crescent lunge. Now you can stay here, or you can join me for a progression. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a twist. So you're going to drop that left hand down to the inside of the ankle and twist up and over to your right. And then we can float both hands down for a nice deep runner's lunge. Yep. And then here we go. We're coming back into crescent lunge slowly. and then back to the center, turning both feet. Now we'll go into our warriors on the other side. Let me just scoot over a little. You're going to turn your left foot out to the side, bending your left knee, stacking your shoulders and your hips, and then rotating your gaze to look down your left fingers. Yeah, there we go, warrior 2. Into peaceful warrior. Reach up for strength and over to the back for flexibility. And then back into warrior 2 as we drop into side angle, dropping that elbow to that thigh, gazing down to the big toe or floating the big hand up. Or maybe you want more, you can slide that front hand down and gaze up to the ceiling. Coming back into warrior 2, right into that peaceful warrior with a great stretch. From here we go right into triangle. So as you reach your arms out long, straighten out that left knee, drop your left hand to your thigh or shin. Slide down as far as it feels good for you. Maybe you gaze up to the ceiling, maybe not. And then come on back into warrior 2. Reset. And we're going into warrior 1. You're going to take that right arm forward, reach both hands over the shoulders, reach up high. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you join me for that progression. You're going to lift up your back heel and turn both feet to the left. Crescent lunge. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you join me for that rotation, that twist, or not. Maybe your hand just comes to your thigh. Maybe it comes all the way down to the ankle. Float up, reach. Float that top hand down so you're straddling that front foot. Nice deep runner's lunge, making sure your knee is over your ankle. And then floating your hands back up into crescent lunge, reach. Inhale, exhale, come back to the center, back into standing straddle split. Inhale up, exhale, hands over heart center. Take your toes in, kick your heels in, toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, heels. Come to the front of your mat. We're going to do a swan dive down. So soft knees. Swan dives are all about your breath. I love them because they can just be so freeing. So inhale to float up. Exhale, swan dive down. Hands can come to the thighs or in front of the ankles, flip the palms. Bend the knees a little more like you're taking a big, heavy load. Maybe lots of love and energy and just pulling it into your heart center. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And one more. This time we're going to stay down in a forward fold. Only to walk back onto our hands and knees. Cross your ankles or swish your feet around as we come back onto our buttocks. And I think we're going to move into our boat pose here. Alrighty, so on boat pose, grab behind your knees, roll past your tailbone, round your spine. Be sure you're not on your tailbone as you bring your legs into tabletop. Reach your arms out long. Maybe you straighten your legs. Maybe you keep them down. Maybe you hold on to your legs. It's your boat, so let it be fun. And breathe. Maybe you bring your hands down for balance. Going and hinge forward. We're going to roll onto our backs for our final Savasana. So bring your hands behind your knees, roll past that tailbone. As you take your knees into your chest, bear hug your knees. Drop your head to your mat. Maybe you put a pillow under your head for support. Gently rock your knees side to side. And then in our final Savasana, you can either have your legs up the wall for your Savasana with your arms out in a T, palms are up or maybe overhead. The other option for your final Savasana is supine, butterfly, or Cobra. Soles of the feet come together as knees go apart, pushing the lower back into the mat and belly into the spine. Or maybe you straighten your legs, bringing your left heel to the left corner of your mat and the right heel to the right corner of your mat. Close your eyes and just be. Take this time to just be in the moment. Take this time for yourself. And just relax. Relax your thoughts. Relax your body, your spirit, and just be. Meditate on your intention. Think of ways that you can be healed, how you can heal yourself, how you can offer healing to others. Take this time to explore just final relaxation so that you can hear what your spirit is telling you. Relax your toes, and the balls of your feet, the arches of your feet and your heels, your legs behind your knees, your buttocks, your back. Relax your lower back. So many of us have pain in our lower back. Let's try to heal any pain you might be feeling in your back. Breathe in healing and exhale any pain you may have. Relax your middle back and your upper back with your shoulder blades just melting into your mat. Relax your shoulders and your arms, the insides of your elbows, insides of your wrists, the palms of your hands, your fingers, just relax them. Let them part. Relax your thumbs, and as you relax your thumbs, your shoulders should relax a little more. Let us relax our hip bones and our pelvis, our belly, our rib cage. Relax your chest and your neck, your scalp, and all the muscles in your face. It's amazing how you intentionally, you can just relax all the muscles in your face, and how relaxing does that feel? Let us come to that place of total relaxation, Savasana. Relax your forehead, eyebrows and your eyelids, cheekbones, your nose and your chin, your ears, earlobes. Relax your jaw, even your teeth. You can unclench them, let them part. Let your tongue fall away from your teeth. Relax your lips and just be. Just be, breathe, and be in the moment. And then during this final Savasana, you can even take it to another level with your breath. Going into those purifying breaths the way we started our practice, inhaling as deep and long as you can in through your nose, so long that your tummy continues to just grow higher and higher. And then pause. And then exhale all that old air out of your body through your mouth. How long and deep can you breathe here? Inhale. Let me hear the exhale. Or let someone hear the exhale. And one more purifying breath. Inhale as long and deep as you can. And exhale. Returning to normal breath, but keeping our eyes closed, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. As we come back into some awareness, let's roll over onto our sides if you're comfortable doing so. Maybe in a fetal position, which represents rebirth, renewal. Renewal of the mind, the body, and the spirit. Healing starts in our own bodies. Let's just invite that healing into our being. As you are on your sides in this fetal position, let us open our hearts and have hearts filled with gratitude. Let us be thankful that we could even do this practice today. Even if we just did parts of it, because maybe we're injured, or maybe there are other things going on in our life. Wherever you are, try to have a heart, and I pray for you to have a heart of gratitude and grace in all circumstances. May your hearts be filled with peace today. I find great peace that my Lord Jesus gives me. His peace and understanding is like no other peace that I can ever imagine. May your hearts be filled with love, forgiveness of yourself and of others, so that you can be healed. And with that, I invite you to come back to a seated position, maybe with your knees folded, legs folded, or your knees just out in front a little bit so that you're comfortable the way we began our practice today. But let's close with a time of prayer. So this is a time for prayer requests, whether you are a believer of Jesus Christ or a believer, whatever your spiritual beliefs are, we can still pray together. Let us pray for each other. You can say it out loud where you are. Maybe you ask for prayer by typing it in. Let us pray. And with that, I invite you to open your eyes, take your arms out long with your palms up. Inhale to float the hands up, and exhale, hands over, heart center. Peace be with you. I hope you feel renewed, restored, and healed from your practice today. Thank you for joining us. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Karen, for being our healer today and leading us through that. Margaret, thank you for sharing about your mother, and we will definitely keep her in our prayers and keep you and your family in our prayers as well for her healing. And thanks for everybody who joined us. In several weeks, we're going to try to have, we'll give you some more information about this as we go along. But we wanted to have, yes, thank you, Jean, for a conversations with a difference time. So we were thinking maybe after our yoga practice, anybody who wanted to join, if we could gather in a Zoom room. Maybe there's some things you want to talk about. Maybe there's some spiritual practices you're exploring, or just something that's going on in the world today that you need to process with other people that are trying to pursue a spiritual path of love and grace and healing. So we'll send out a little blurb about that. And anybody who wants to join us, maybe if you want to type in the comment sections of the different feeds where we have a yoga church each week, maybe a topic, something you would like Karen to talk about, or you would like us to have a conversation about, we'd love to hear that so that we can finish our yoga practice time, and then we could go into that Zoom space and maybe just have conversation and share a little bit deeper. We would love to do that with you. So let me, I'm just going to close this with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Amen. Thank you for joining, everybody. And Karen, thank you again.